you had to choose one dog to protect your family with your life on the line, would you pick the lightning-fast Doberman or the bone-crushing Cane Corso? Most people get this choice completely wrong, and it could cost them everything. The Doberman Pinscher and the Cane Corso are two of the most feared protection dogs on the planet. One was built for speed and precision, the other for raw power and intimidation. Both have proven themselves in real-world protection scenarios, military operations, and personal security. But when you put them head-to-head, only one can come out on top. Today we're breaking down everything from bite force to intelligence, from guarding instincts to family compatibility. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which breed is the ultimate guardian. Here's the issue that most people face when choosing between these two elite protection breeds. They look at the surface level stuff, like how scary the dog looks or how much the dog weighs. They don't dig into the real differences that actually matter when your safety is on the line. A lot of people assume bigger automatically means better protection. Others think speed and agility are more important than size. But the truth is way more complicated than that. Choosing the wrong breed for your specific situation can leave you with a dog that's either too aggressive for your lifestyle or not. Protective enough when danger actually shows up. The Doberman and Cane Corso are both incredible dogs, but they were designed for completely different purposes. Understanding these differences is what separates people who end up with the perfect guardian from people who end up rehoming their dog within a year. Let's start with the history, because that tells us everything about what these dogs were built to do. The Doberman Pinscher was created in Germany during the late 1800s by a tax collector named Carl Friedrich Louis Doberman. This guy needed a dog that could protect him while he collected money in some really dangerous neighborhoods. He wasn't looking for a massive beast that would slow him down. He needed something athletic, intelligent, and alert. Something that could move fast and make quick decisions. He mixed several breeds, including the Rottweiler, German Pinscher, Greyhound, and Weimaraner, to create what we now know as the Doberman. The result was a medium to large dog that typically weighs between 60 to 100 pounds, with males being significantly larger than females. They stand about 24 to 28 inches tall at the shoulder. Their build is sleek and muscular without excess bulk. Everything about their body structure screams speed and endurance. The Cane Corso has a completely different background. This breed goes back to ancient Rome, where they were used as war dogs in battle. These dogs wore armor and charged into enemy lines alongside Roman soldiers. After the Roman Empire fell, the Cane Corso transitioned into a farm guardian and hunting dog in rural Italy. They were used to hunt wild boar, protect livestock from predators, and guard property from intruders. Size and power were critical for these tasks. A Cane Corso male typically weighs between 100 to 110 pounds, but some males push past 120 pounds. Females usually sit around 85 to 100 pounds. They stand 23 to 27 inches tall, so they're actually slightly shorter than Dobermans in some cases, but they're way thicker and more heavily muscled. Their build is stocky and intimidating. When a Cane Corso stands in front of you, there's no question about what this dog is capable of. Now let's talk about bite force, because this is where things get really interesting. The Doberman has a bite force of around 245 pounds per square inch. That's pounds per square inch. For comparison, the average human bite force is only about 120 to 140 psi, so the Doberman can bite down with almost double the force of a grown man. That's definitely enough to stop an attacker in their tracks. But the Cane Corso takes this to another level entirely. The Cane Corso has a bite force estimated between 650 to 700 psi. Some reports even claim it can reach up to 750 psi in certain situations. That puts them in the same category as wolves and significantly higher than German Shepherds and Rottweilers. To put this in perspective, a Cane Corso bite can break bones with ease. We're talking about a dog that can crush a human arm or leg without even trying that hard. The Doberman can definitely do damage, but the Cane Corso is on a completely different level when it comes to pure crushing power. Speed and agility is where the Doberman really shines. These dogs can run up to 35 miles per hour. That makes them one of the fastest dog breeds in the world. Their long legs and lean build allow them to accelerate quickly and change direction without losing momentum. This speed is a massive advantage in protection work because threats don't always come from one direction. A Doberman can quickly reposition itself to cut off an attacker's escape route or chase down someone trying to flee. They can cover ground incredibly fast. The Cane Corso is not slow by any means. They can hit speeds around 25 to 28 miles per hour, which is still impressive for a dog of their size, but they're built more for short bursts of explosive power rather than sustained speed. Think of the Cane Corso like a linebacker in football. They're not racing down the field for 50 yards. They're exploding forward for 10 yards and hitting you like a truck. Intelligence is another critical factor. Both breeds are highly intelligent, but they express it differently. Dobermans are ranked as the 5th smartest dog breed in the world, according to canine intelligence studies. They learn commands extremely fast, often picking up new tasks after just 5 repetitions or less. This makes them incredibly easy to train for complex protection work. Police and military units love Dobermans because they can learn detection work, tracking, apprehension, and handler protection without needing months and months of repetition. Their intelligence also means they can assess threats independently. A well-trained Doberman doesn't just react to commands. They evaluate situations and make decisions on their own when necessary. The Cane Corso is also intelligent, but in a different way. They're more independent thinkers. This breed was developed to work on farms without constant human supervision. They had to make decisions about when to engage threats and when to stand down. That independent streak means they're not always as eager to please as Dobermans. Training a Cane Corso requires a firm and consistent handler who can establish clear leadership. If you're a first-time dog owner or someone who's not comfortable being assertive with a large, powerful animal, the Cane Corso might not be the best choice. But if you can establish that respect early, they become incredibly loyal and obedient guardians. Let's move into guarding instincts and natural protection ability. This is what really separates these breeds from regular family dogs. The Doberman was literally designed from the ground up to be a personal protection dog. Their guarding instinct is strong, but it's also refined. They're naturally suspicious of strangers, but they're not randomly aggressive. A well-socialized Doberman can differentiate between a normal visitor and a legitimate threat. They're alert dogs who constantly scan their environment. You'll notice a Doberman's ears are always up and rotating to catch sounds. Their eyes are always moving and tracking movement. When a Doberman senses something off, their entire body language changes. They become rigid, focused, and ready to engage. But they don't just attack anything that moves. They wait for confirmation that action is needed. This controlled aggression is what makes them so effective in professional protection work. The Cane Corso's guarding instinct is more primal and territorial. This breed doesn't need much training to protect property. It's hardwired into them. From centuries of breeding, a Cane Corso will naturally patrol their territory and mark boundaries. They're less tolerant of strangers entering their space compared to Dobermans. Where a Doberman might bark and posture to warn someone off, a Cane Corso is more likely to put themselves physically between the threat and their family without hesitation. They're not aggressive for no reason, but their threshold for what they consider a threat is lower. This makes them excellent property guardians, but it also means they require early and extensive socialization. If you don't expose a Cane Corso to different people, places, and situations as a puppy, they can become overly suspicious and reactive as adults. Family compatibility is something a lot of people overlook when choosing a protection breed. Both of these dogs can be great with families, but there are important differences. Dobermans are often called Velcro dogs because they bond extremely closely with their owners. They want to be near you all the time. If you're sitting on the couch, your Doberman is right next to you. If you're walking around the house, they're following you from room to room. This strong bond makes them incredibly loyal and responsive to their families. Emotions. They're generally good with children when raised with them from puppyhood. Their patience with kids is decent, but supervision is always necessary because they're large athletic dogs that can accidentally knock over a small child during play. The Cane Corso is also loyal to their family, but they're more independent. They don't need constant physical contact like Dobermans do. They're content to lie in a spot where they can watch over the family without being directly next to everyone. With children, Cane Corsos can be gentle giants when properly trained and socialized. Many Cane Corso owners report that their dogs are incredibly patient and protective with their kids. However, this breed has a higher prey drive and rougher play style. They might try to hurt or control children's movements, which can be problematic. Their sheer size and strength mean that even gentle play can become dangerous if the dog gets too excited. For families with very young children or first-time dog owners, the Doberman is generally considered the safer choice. A Cane Corso that's physically tired but mentally bored can still develop behavior problems. Health issues are another important comparison point. Dobermans, unfortunately, have some significant health concerns. The breed is prone to dilated cardiomyopathy, which is a serious heart condition that can lead to sudden death. It's estimated that up to 40 to 50% of Dobermans will develop this condition at some point in their lives. They're also susceptible to von Willebrand's disease, which is a blood clotting disorder, hip dysplasia, and Wobbler syndrome, which affects the spine and neck. The average lifespan of a Doberman is about 10 to 12 years. Responsible breeders do health testing to reduce these risks, but the breed as a whole carries these genetic predispositions. The Cane Corso is generally healthier as a breed, but they're not immune to problems. Hip dysplasia is common in large breeds, and the Cane Corso is no exception. They can also develop elbow dysplasia, cherry eye, and bloat, which is a life-threatening condition where the stomach twists on itself. Their average lifespan is slightly longer at 10 to 12 years, similar to Dobermans. One advantage with Cane Corsos is that the breed hasn't been as heavily line-bred as Dobermans, so there's generally more genetic diversity, which can mean fewer inherited health problems overall. Training difficulty and handler experience needed is a major deciding factor. The Doberman is considered a better choice for someone who has some dog experience, but isn't necessarily a professional trainer. Their eagerness to please and high intelligence make them responsive to positive reinforcement training methods. They want to work with you and make you happy. Consistency and clear communication are important, but you don't need to be an alpha dog whisperer to successfully train a Doberman. They respond well to structured training programs, and they genuinely enjoy learning new things. The Cane Corso requires a more experienced handler. This breed needs someone who can be a calm, confident leader without being harsh or abusive. Dominance-based training methods that rely on physical corrections can backfire with a Cane Corso and damage the trust between dog and handler. But permissive training where the dog doesn't respect boundaries is equally problematic. You need to find that balance of being firm but fair. If you've never owned a large, powerful breed before, the Cane Corso is probably not the right choice for your first protection dog. Many professional trainers recommend getting experience with breeds like German Shepherds, or even starting with a Doberman before taking on a Cane Corso. So here's the moment of truth. Which breed actually wins in a head-to-head comparison? If we're talking about pure physical combat ability, the Cane Corso has the advantage. Their bite force alone gives them a massive edge in any physical confrontation. A Cane Corso can inflict more damage in a shorter amount of time. Their size and power mean they can physically overpower most threats, including other large dogs and adult humans. In a scenario where you need a dog that can absolutely dominate an attacker through sheer force, the Cane Corso is the answer. But protection isn't just about who hits harder. The Doberman brings speed, intelligence, and versatility that the Cane Corso can't match. In real-world protection scenarios, threats don't always look like a single attacker coming through your front door. Sometimes it's multiple threats. Sometimes it's a threat that's trying to escape. Sometimes you need a dog that can pursue, track, and maintain pressure without going into a full kill mode. The Doberman's ability to assess situations, respond to commands even under stress, and adapt to changing circumstances makes them incredibly effective in a wider range of scenarios. For property protection and territorial guarding, the Cane Corso is the better choice. Their natural territorial instinct means they'll guard your home with minimal training. Just their physical presence is often enough to deter potential intruders. Nobody sees a 120-pound Cane Corso standing in a yard and thinks that's a house they want to break into. For personal protection where the dog needs to accompany you in public, travel with you, or work in environments with lots of people around, the Doberman is the better choice. Their temperament is more stable in social situations. They're easier to control in crowded environments. You can take a well-trained Doberman almost anywhere without worrying that they're going to misread a situation and create a problem. At the end of the day, both the Doberman Pinscher and the Cane Corso are elite protection dogs that can keep you and your family safe. The Doberman offers speed, intelligence, and versatility in a package that's easier for most people to handle. They're the Swiss Army knife of protection dogs. The Cane Corso offers raw power, intimidation, and territorial guarding instincts that are second to none. They're the sledgehammer. Which one is right for you depends entirely on your specific situation. If you live in a house with property to protect, have experience with large dogs, and want maximum deterrence and power, the Cane Corso is your dog. If you want a protection dog that can also be a companion, work in various environments, and is slightly easier to train and manage, the Doberman is your dog. Both breeds require serious commitment, training, and socialization. Neither one is a dog you can just throw in the backyard and forget about. But if you put in the work, both will lay down their lives to protect you without hesitation. Subscribe for more protection breed breakdowns.